Hello, guys. If you guys are watching this on YouTube or you're watching it here on Twitch, it's your boy Willie, and we are going to be catching this interview with Archvillain. Archvillain is a leader of the Egode squad, and Egode, as you guys know, is making their way over to EU. So obviously we saw EU to NA. Now we're going to be seeing NA to EU. So that is kind of what we're going to be talking about. It's going to be pretty interesting to kind of get some perspective from the person who is going to be leading this charge. So excuse me. But yeah, it should be awesome. Archvillain, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself? Look, if you do want to put on the webcam, you can. Look, that's up to you, though, bro.
Yeah, I don't even own a webcam, so that's
yeah, that's fine. Look, I got you. Either way, Archvillain, go ahead and introduce yourself.
What's up? I am the governor of shotcaller of Egode. Been around since Valgrind. Pretty much play on all the main servers for like a year now. Playing dropouts. Just been chilling, you know. Mainly I'm just the governor and shotcaller of Egode, and I will be leading the charge of EU Goad over to EU.
Yes, EU Goad to EU. So somebody already asked, why, and this is a great question. Why would Egode want to go to EU? What was Egode's reason for like, okay, now is the time for us to make our way to EU?
Well, the competition's been a little bit dry on NA, and then we saw how much we saw how much fun it could potentially be going over there, right, and actually facing them. Because when they came over here, they obviously, I don't think they had a lot of fun. They kind of coped a bit on some stuff, and they kind of got farmed. But we don't think that'll happen, so we think it'll actually be good competition over there for us. And, the other servers, like COS, for example, they're kind of dying a bit. So there wasn't really anywhere else to go, to be honest.
Hey, gotcha. Now, one thing I'm thinking about, obviously, is I kind of want to get your opinion, and whether it's Egode or just yours alone. Obviously, we know that EU kind of have been getting farmed, or at least Parabellum over here on NA. What, was that what you were expecting from EU, or like where, you know what I mean? Where were you thinking? What are you thinking about it all?
Yeah, I think pretty much everyone in NA, at least most of the top players and top company and leadership all thought they were going to get farmed on EU, or on NA, I mean. Parabellum coming over, I didn't really see them taking a point. I do think ping is a big problem in general, but I think they're just behind on the meta, and a lot of their players maybe they brought over just aren't as good. Maybe they didn't have the best roster, but pretty much it went exactly how I was expected them coming in NA.
Yeah, what have you been catching any of the have you been catching any like Mangode or just Parabellum? I'm curious.
Yeah, I have actually been looking. I've been watching those Mangode versus Parabellum wars, and Mangode looks way better than Parabellum. I mean, we're gonna go over there, and we probably wanted to fight. We want to fight Parabellum first, just because they came in A, right? We go EU, we fight them first. It's kind of like a rivalry thing going on. But and it looks like Mango is actually gonna be our real competition.
Yeah. So, yeah. Well, I mean, you're not the only one who kind of had that, has that opinion because after catching some Mango and seeing Mango start doing well over there, a lot of people were like, "Oh shit, EU sent the wrong company," you know what I mean, like to represent. And obviously, at the time, a lot of people in the chat were like, "Oh, dude, NA needs to come EU. NA needs to come EU." I feel like, do you think that the time that EU has had over here, do you think that's a good amount of allotted time for them to kind of show off what they would have been able to do?
Yeah, I think they definitely had time to show off like their idea of what like the meta is and their idea of comp. I think they definitely showed what they thought what the meta was, and it did not go well for them. I think they probably have learned. I think they've learned a lot actually from their time here. I think they kind of realized Sword and Shield is good. I think they realized a lot of stuff NA does is actually better, and I think Mango definitely realized that, and they adapted pretty hard to the NA meta, and that's kind of why they're winning now.
Yeah, that's what some people were saying. I mean, I'm in the conversations as well, and some people were saying that Mango was just better at kind of adapting to it and seeing how NA was warring, and then and Paris is struggling over there. And it is kind of interesting, right? Obviously, EU to NA was super hype and a lot of fun. And I still think, I don't know if Parabellum still plans on trying to, get the wars in. I personally hope they do. But, obviously, it's interesting. Do you think Egode is the company to be making this happen for NA? Do you think it should have been Supple, Dropouts, or is Egode like the perfect company for it?
I think it's definitely Egode. Dropouts can't really do it because like a lot of their rosters is West, right?
Yeah.
The ping is like impossible. You're not going to be able to be like you're not really going to be able to play with that level of ping for a lot of their roster. And the only other company that could have done it realistically is Supple, but I think even then they just don't want to, right? And I think the like they would need help. I don't think they can fill like a full roster with just like what they have. I don't think enough of their players would want to go over or would even be able to. So they would have to ask like help from us, for example, because we have a lot of supple players coming over in the EU code, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, EU Goat, I'm sure, is going to be filled with some of the best players of NA. And do you think that roster that you guys are going to bring over is going to be a good representative of the best players of NA?
I think we definitely have a lot of good players available to us. It's a question like on the day of really if they're all able to make it and stuff like that. I think the biggest problem we have right now is like maybe a lack of decks because a lot of them don't want to come over. The ping is very bad, and then one of them broke their hand,
Oh,
and
well, who broke their hand?
Zeb broke his hand. X Zeb.
Zed, bro. All right.
So
Only
we're
breaking his hand out here.
And then on top of that, like a lot of the good decks, some of them there's like a lot of them that are west. So we're kind of down bad on decks right now. We might end up having to merc a few when we go over there, but not much you can do about that, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, you obviously want to keep your comp realistic, right? I mean, you want all NA and stuff, but you obviously, you got to be somewhat realistic with it. But it is kind of funny to see, we saw EU have a hard time, and I think, Ego going over there. Now, one thing I want to address too is, EU came over talking all that shit. Like, let's not forget, right? Like, we were here having this same conversation. And when EU was on their way over here, it was a lot of shit talk. It was a lot of, we're going to face fuck NA, obviously, you seem to be a little more tame, kind of more chill about it. So how is Ego making their way in there into EU?
I mean, I think we definitely have the same attitude of we're just gonna shit on Para, to be honest. I've been watching their wars, man, and they've been really bad. So
Yeah.
like, even compared to what they used to be a month ago, they aren't even performing well on EU. They didn't perform well on NA at all, and they aren't performing well on EU either right now. They look really bad right now. Mango looks really good. I think they'll be competition. They'll probably. I'd be surprised if we beat them like first war, for example. I think they're really good. I think we might have to do a bit of adapting. Might have to, you know, maybe get some other players over that we can if possible. I think they'll be a lot tougher to beat.
Well, that was going to be my next question is because I asked this with BAP too is when do you guys, in your opinion, when do you think that, you would be realistically, let's say Para, when would you beat Parabellum? Like how many wars would it take?
I think we honestly could beat them the first war, to be honest. They look horrible right now.
Damn. I mean, hey, look, keeping it real. I mean, look, we have been seeing a lot of Parabellum and the struggle is a little real for the squad. What about Mango? I know you think Mango looks better. What about Mango?
Mango is definitely better. I think it take us a few wars for sure. I think they just look way better, right? They seem to have a better rosters. They seem to have a better idea of macro. They seem to have better everything in regards to like Mango versus Para right now. So I'd say like 3, maybe 4 wars would be max. And if we don't beat them by then I guess we probably won't beat them at all, to be honest. If we don't beat them in 3 to 4 wars.
Now, when do you guys plan on getting active over there? Is like any time? Are you guys still building up? Like, how many players are over there right now? Like, what's cooking?
Right now we are building up a bit. We wanted to do it actually this weekend, but unfortunately, too many people have server transfer timers and too many people are leveling still, so we're pushed it back a weekend. So it'll be not this coming weekend, but the next one. So like June 10th and June 11th is what we're going for
Cool.
the wars.
Cool. I mean, yeah, that's going to be pretty exciting. I would formally request the 11th. No, I'm kidding. But no, it should be pretty. It should be pretty awesome. I'm actually looking forward to it, and that's going to give time, right? Multiple people in the chat are asking, is Ego leaving? Is this going to be an Ego leaving Marama? I would assume that this is just alts, correct?
No, this is just alts. I mean, at this point, most of our alts are as geared as mains, right? So we're just sending alts over, keeping everyone on, keeping Ego and Marama still.
I would assume that too. I just, wanted to answer that for the chat. But yeah, now going into it, I don't think, after seeing EU versus NA, what we've already seen, I don't think that NA really needs to adjust their strategy or macro. We had this conversation with EU when they were making their way over here, like, what's it going to look like for you guys? Do you think you're going to have to adapt? Do you think you're going to have to adjust? We kind of seen that NA macro and NA strat and even composition seems to be just best. But is there anything that that you've seen so far, maybe from, maybe from the, Mango squad or anything? Is there anything that you're going to be on the lookout for that maybe they're doing differently?
I don't think so. I mean, they do run more schizos, I think, over there, or at least they used to. So that might be something we implement, because right now, NA, we kind of run a lot of bows and blunderbuss, which don't work as well on high ping, right? So trading those out for something like schizos, like sword and shield or greatsword, which maybe are just easier to play on high ping might be a move, but other than that, I don't think we're going to switch out much in terms of composition.
Yeah, and again, I just want to ask it, right? But yeah, I mean, one thing we've seen is that, and going into it, obviously, it's it's kind of scary for EU. What would Ego has a history with taking control of servers. When would Ego stop? What is? Are you guys looking for just a couple of dubs and you're feeling good, or is it going to be like, you guys really going to be unleashing the tried and true Ego experience if you guys start popping off?
I don't think we'll be taking the whole server like we used to. I think we're just looking to get a few dubs. We're just looking for competition, really. We can't no one wants to stay over there forever and play. I think we would have to set our timers to 6 p.m., which means most people can't make that even during the work week, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people, so it's not really optimal. We'll probably just go over there, try to get a few dubs, and then maybe after a month we'll see if we want to transfer off or keep playing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to it, man. I think Ego obviously has a reputation, and I know some people don't like Ego. It is what it is. I mean, Ego has been, you guys have been around for a while, and looks like EU might be another mark in the Ego history of kind of making making an appearance and trying to trying to collect some dubs from the EU boys. I guess honestly, I feel like we answered a lot here. I really wanted to give just kind of the EU squad and in a perspective, kind of on going in over here. Really, it's kind of rough to say because we saw EU fumble the bag a lot over here. It's just kind of weird. I feel like, is there any conversation that you think is going to be had between any EU versus egoed players that might affect the war? Like, it's just hard to tell. Like, is there anything that you guys are thinking about going into? It might be a wild card because I feel like we saw all of what EU has to offer, right? Like, I don't know. Is there any juice?
I mean, I don't think there's any wild cards. I think EU showed pretty much their hand coming to NA. I think they know our meta. I think we know their meta, and we have some friends in EU, right? I think we'd be able to get their composition going in. We're gonna be able to see what we're going up against, and they probably have some people here to get our shit too. So I think there's not gonna be really any surprises on either side.
Yeah, it sucks. Obviously, when EU was coming in here, that it was a little bit more, but it's unfortunate. I think Para, for the better or for the worse, kind of set the tone for the EU versus NA. And now that NA is going over there, it almost feels like it's extremely intimidating. I mean, I'm not an EU, right? But from my point of view, I would be a little intimidated. I would be like, oh God, the NA boys are making their way over here, and it's going to be a little scary for EU for the landing. So I don't know. I mean, I guess Arch is, aside from that, is there anything that you want to say? I mean, I feel like we hit on a lot of the questions when it comes to why you guys are going over to EU, who Egoed is, and why they're doing it and how they're going to feel about it. So, I mean, anything on you? Anything you want to talk about the transition over there to EU?
I guess maybe I could give them a few, flips or something in case it goes bad and they can meme it. I'll just say Para is dog shit. We're gonna roll their dumb ass. I mean, honestly, that's just the goddamn truth. I've been watching every single one of their wars, bro. They're getting worse somehow. I fucking saw this war earlier, bro. They got 20% tick maximum, and it was fake tick because the mango was just emptying. These guys are horrible players. If we don't win, we're just dog shit or something. We're trash. And honestly, we should just quit the game if we lose to Para right now. They're horrible. Mango, on the other hand, you guys are pretty good.
Look, I'll be honest, man. Look, I got nothing but love for the Para boys. I got some homies over there, but at the same time, it was definitely rough. I feel bad for Para. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see the Mango conversation. I think that that is definitely kind of what I'm looking forward to as well, because we haven't seen Mango versus any NA. So yeah, I mean, aside from that, guys, look, Ark, I know it was a bit of a shorter interview than what we had with BAP, but going into it, we just know a little bit more now. And this is going to be good for EU and NA to kind of get an idea, to know that Ego is making the way over here. And it's going to be fun to see NA versus EU on their land. So Ark Villain, representing the Ego squad, thank you so much for popping in here, man. You already know it's all love. It's nothing but love, bro. You have a fantastic night, man.
Hey, thanks, Willie.
Yep, of course. See you, bro.
See you, man.
And again, guys, if you guys are watching this on YouTube, thank you so much. Hit that sub. You guys already know, though. If you're here on Twitch, hit the follow.